Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Thursday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report, episode 204, titled, Wear Your Emotion. Wear Your Emotion. Where am I going with this? Well, stick around as we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Hello, folks. It's me again. What a great podcast yesterday on the State of the Fan Address. Want to also extend a big thank you to Shayna Goldman of The Athletic, giving us her insight about the New Jersey Devils. July 1st, Canada Day is tomorrow. If you're listening to the podcast in your car on Friday, which is tomorrow when we are doing this live recording, happy Canada Day. Happy 4th of July. The big weekend is coming. July 7th, a week from today, we will be at Pasta Grill by Enzo's in beautiful Hackettstown, New Jersey, in the heart of Warren County, in the Mansfield section off of Route 57. We will have our live draft day podcasts with the Let's Go Devils podcast. We're going to have some guests. Hockey on Tap will be on hand. Have some bolognese. We are 4-0 when we eat the bolognese while the Devils are on the road. Just remember to join us at Pasta Grill by Enzo's off of Route 57 in beautiful Hackettstown, New Jersey in the Mansfield section. Yeah, we're going to have a good time. And Michael Hay says in the Facebook Live, yes, I want to go. Yeah, we will have the information out tomorrow. Going to have promos. Going to do, we're going to do all that stuff. But let's talk about the topic at hand. Wear your emotion. And where I got this title was, if anybody watched the Colorado Avalanche parade, well, for starters, that video that kind of went viral when Bowen Byram was having a good time on the streets, partying, and with the fans, and the police officer showed up and didn't realize he was a player. That was, it happens, when players wearing their own jersey, they just look like a fan as well, having a good time, but the cop let him go, and all things are good. The cops have a tough job as is, and they worry about the player safety and, the Colorado Avalanche safety. But I thought that was pretty funny. Colin writes, in fairness, he looked like some random kid. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, he actually did, if anybody saw that video. But moving on, here was something that if anybody saw the Avalanche head coach, Jared Bednar's speech, it was about 4.5 minutes long. And from the start, he was tearing up. He was emotional about the struggle it took to get to the top of the mountain. No pun intended, with the Avalanche anyway, Colorado, the Rockies. Anyway, and he spoke for 4.5 minutes in a very emotional speech. And I got to tell you something, that is a great quality. A great quality to have with a head coach. It starts from the top. And he had that passion, conviction, and he had the players' attention, respect. Jared Bednar, I'll tell you what, his story which was, talked about during the Stanley Cup Finals, the struggles of becoming a head coach and where he came from to where he is now. And showing his emotion up there, it showed a lot about his conviction and his character, that he loved the players, he loved the organization. He was so appreciative of the Colorado Avalanche, specifically Joe Sakic, and believing in him, even though they had the worst record after the 2016-2017 season and stuck with them. He wore that emotion, and this is something that we are seeing develop with this young New Jersey Devils team, but they're still searching for their identity. They're still searching to find out what they're really made of. And I want to point this out because there are times when you're watching some of these Devils games, and last year we did see some kind of improvements from previous years where, the Devils sometimes got pissed. And after, coming out, quote unquote, is what Scotty would say on the Devils After Dark, sleepwalking, Lindy Ruff will get the team, and boom, the second and third period, it was a much better performance. We just need to see more consistency. But if you want to take a look at what happened with the Tampa Bay Lightning and Colorado Avalanche after the game was over, game 6, and the way Tampa conducted themselves, they were not happy. They gave it their best. They know it. And even John Cooper said that is the team he would remember, the losing team of the Stanley Cup Finals, because of the way that they battle. And if the Devils were to take it to the next level, this is it. You could talk about all the analytics you want. You could talk about skill. You could talk about NHL Combine. You could talk about all that good stuff. But emotion drives it, and how you take that emotion and what you can get out, what emotion can do for you, could be a motivating factor and a domino effect of actually get this thing going with this New Jersey Devils organization. And I like that. I like that a lot. Remember when Ray Shero, he was asked a question, I forgot what it was, and he dropped a couple, I don't know, not a couple, a lot of F-bombs? I like that in the GM. Not appropriate, not PG, but I like that. I love that emotion. I love the human element in hockey. The passion, the fight for positioning, getting in front of the goalie's face and paying the price. I think Nico Hischier definitely has that in him. Jack Hughes is a little different because Jack Hughes has that laid-back personality, but so did Marty Brodeur. But when it comes time to be serious, they are laser focused in getting the job done. I think Jack Hughes hasn't, and he's only 21 years old. Ryan Mann says, I wear my emotion. I've started a Devils-themed tattoo sleeve. Oh, yeah, that's right, Ryan. Also, David Decker. You want to talk about David Decker from Town Toyota in Ledgewood, New Jersey? Yes, that David Decker, the red guy. He actually has a tattoo of the Let's Go Devils podcast logo. You want to talk about dedication? Yeah, David Decker. And by the way, if you're looking for a Toyota, especially in today's market where there's no inventory of brand new cars, David Decker will get it for you. And this is not a paid endorsement. Truthfully speaking, he has helped members of the Let's Go Devils podcast get either ourselves or our significant others a Toyota when there are no Toyotas around nowadays. And they're not going to sticker shock you just like every other dealership. Go to Town Toyota, Route 46, ask for David Decker and tell him Sam Wu sent you, and he'll hook you up. But yeah, it's what Ryan Mann says. That's dedication. Shane Van Sickle in the YouTube Live says, absolutely right, Sam. The 95 team was all heart. Absolutely. Remember the fourth line, the crash line? What Mike Peluso and Randy McKay and Bobby Holik brought to the table? They crashed. They crashed your party. They brought that attitude. They brought that ruthlessness. And that's just part of the game. That is part of the game. Wear your emotion. Now it's a double-edged sword. Because sometimes when you get a little emotional, you start to do stupid things. Arlette, she says, hi, Sam. Arlette is in the Facebook group. Hello, Arlette. We love you. See, I'm wearing my emotion right now. Arlette is the greatest singer of all time, in my opinion. Arlette, when she sings the national anthem before every Devils game, don't you get goosebumps? You're wearing your emotion after she belts it out. When she says the home of the brave and she raises her arm. That's what I'm talking about. Wear your emotion. That's what we want the Devils to be doing. Like that speech by the Colorado Avalanche coach in front of thousands of people in Denver. What it took to get to the top, where you believe in something that you don't think is going to happen, but you keep on believing. And this is next level stuff that the Devils, this young team, needs to focus on. And that is why they got one of these motivational executives in player development. I forgot the guy's name. He should be watching this podcast because he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Because the game is mental as well as physical. And we don't really talk about the mental game. Hockey is a game of inches, a game of split seconds where a turnover of a puck can change the whole dynamics of an organization and the team, winning or losing. Wear your emotion. And we're talking about championship stuff. Frank the Tank says emotions worn. Frank the Tank, that's what I call him. He was one of the 3 finalists for the Devils PA announcer job. I befriended him because, back in the day, him and I were taking a lot of crap online, and we actually colluded, and we were like a fraternity, the 10 that were picked by the New Jersey Devils. Yeah, robbed. I think we were all robbed. Frank, oh my goodness. Eugene Hewitt says Wood, Bastion, McLeod. would be crash line 22. You betcha. Missing Miles Wood for almost the entire season, the heart and soul, one of the heart and soul players of this team, it was a factor. It was a factor. And like I said, and analytics people, if you can find a metric on this, on emotion, motivation, what players make other players better just by their presence, those are the kind of players that the Devils want to draft. High energy players, a team that has each other's back, that love one another. That was another key word in Bednar's speech to the Colorado crowd. He's probably said the word love about 15 times in that 4.5 minutes. And that's one of the key components of building a great team, is when they can all come together. Not just the players, the coaches, the whole organization, the fans, which, by the way, tomorrow on the Woo Report, we're going to talk about fans, Devils fans specifically. And I invited Vinny Parisi of Game Day Live and pucksandpitchforks.com to come on. We're going to talk about fans, Devils fans specifically. And it's going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, live here on the Woo Report. Now, Ryan Mann says in the Facebook Live, am I crazy for being more excited to see Zetterlund is for real? Or, I don't know, it's just comments are just going quickly. Then I am about whoever we draft or sign. I don't think you're crazy, because Zetterlund plays with an edge. He plays with emotion. And don't kill me for, I've seen so many variations how to pronounce his last name. Ahoytuk. That guy, I'm excited for. I'm more excited for Nikita Ahoytuk than Luke Hughes, because the nastiness he brings to the table can really be an altering factor of any hockey game. And I will tell you this. It's funny that the NHL is putting out some kind of infographic about where goalies are making their saves and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you've seen on the NHL's social media pages. And it has like a little graphic, and then it shows okay, up front in front of the crease, 79%, blah, blah. That's the NFZ, the no fun zone that I've been talking about. If your defense can clear out that area well enough where the opposing forwards or defensemen cannot get a clear shot, you're going to win the game. You got to protect the no fun zone. No one's allowed to have any fun here. And I like to see a defense that gets emotional. Like Siegenthaler played very well last season. Siegenthaler played the NFZ very well. I thought Ryan Graves did, for the most part. We need to see more of that. We need to see guys in the trenches battling for positioning. It be intimidating towards their opponents. But yeah, that's what I like. And that's why we love hockey. All right, some people don't like the fighting. To be honest with you, I like the fighting. I think it's awesome. I don't like the stage stuff. I like the real stuff. I like the emotional stuff. I always talk about Jerome Aginla and Vincent Lecavalier in the Stanley Cup Finals, battling for positioning. To answer your question, Michael, hey, yes, it is in Hackettstown, and it's from 6 to 10 on July 7th, the live draft podcast that we're having. Frank says Slavkovsky. Frank, Eugene says, Frank, you're not subscribing to Mackenzie's prediction. Are we looking at right? It could be right. It could be Cooley. Or could we go defense? Read The Athletic. Could the Devils go defense? Is Slavkovsky is picked first overall? You can't go wrong in this scenario with the 7 over. You've got options. And when Tom Fitzgerald's got options, he's a good risk taker. And I trust Tom Fitzgerald. I really do. I trust his judgment. I liked him as a player, especially when he was with the Florida Panthers back in '96, who, by the way, coincidentally got swept by the Avalanche. But I like Tom Fitzgerald. I think he's going to do wonders. And I like that he didn't overpay or go crazy for Kevin Fiala, because he didn't need to. He's got the 2nd overall pick, and that's very valuable. And whoever he picks, he's going to do well. He can't screw this one up. Unless, of course, he trades the pick and gets garbage back in return. I mean, then, you know. Wouldn't be good. Would not be good. But wear your emotion. All right, well, in other news, some NHL news. Thought it was funny that Phil Pritchard, who is a friend of the Let's Go Devils podcast, Phil Pritchard, the keeper of the cup, has been on the Let's Go Devils podcast, following the Stanley Cup around, delivering the Stanley Cup to the wrong address, to Gabriel Landeskog's neighbor, which I thought was hilarious. It's got to be a nice treat to be the neighbor. It's not every day that you get the Stanley Cup in your front yard. I thought that was pretty cool. Also, Boston Bruins. I forgot who broke it. Said sources saying that Jim Montgomery would be the next head coach. The Red Wings, Stevie Yzerman, who practically built the Lightning roster, hired Lightning's assistant coach, Derek Lalonde, as their head coach. I think this is a great move for Detroit. Oh, can you imagine a Detroit, now that they're on the Eastern Conference, Detroit, Colorado Stanley Cup Finals? Can you imagine that? The old days of those brawls, Patrick Waugh. Frank, I had already talked about that earlier in the podcast about Byram getting tagged by the cop. All good. Let's see here. Some other news. Capitals hire first woman as NHL video coach. That's great. Craig Anderson signs a 1-year deal with Buffalo. What else here? Some other NHL happenings. Did I miss anything? It's not good when the internet is not really cooperating. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. One thing I want to talk about, Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang. Talks are coming to head on NHL.com. That's the headline. You know what? It'd be interesting if Ron Hextall, the Pittsburgh GM, if he screws this one up, because I think there's mutual interest there to sign them for life in Pittsburgh. But where would Malkin and Letang go outside of Pittsburgh? And with the Pittsburgh Devils connection, could that anything happen out of it? Just a question, speculation, not really, just kind of interesting where Malkin and Letang will land if they don't re-sign in Pittsburgh, which I can't imagine now. Also, Scott Wedgwood signs a 2-year contract with the Stars. There's your backup goaltender. Anyway. All right, so tomorrow, Woo Report, 11 a.m. Eastern, live. Keep you here. Also dropping this podcast at midnight for your morning and afternoon commute tomorrow. And also it's going to be a holiday weekend. But yeah. Also, just a friendly reminder, Pasta Grill by Enzo's. We will be live for our own draft night party. We're going to do a live podcast. If you want to see all the behind-the-scenes stuff, come visit us. We're off Route 57 in beautiful Hackettstown, New Jersey. Google Pasta Grill by Enzo's. Now, there's 2 of them. We're the one in Hackettstown and Mansfield section. Yeah, it's going to be outdoors if it's sunny. If it's going to be raining, it's going to be indoors. But it's going to be a good time either way. And you never know what may happen at one of these events. A lot of people showed up last year. And we didn't do a good job promoting it. But still, you fans showed up out of nowhere. I think we ran out of pasta that day. No, I'm just kidding. Just joking. Also, big thanks and shout out to David Decker, Town Toyota. We like him. If you want to buy a Toyota this weekend, go to Town Toyota, ask for David Decker, tell him Sam Wu sent you, and he'll hook you up. You know, he's the kind of guy, hey, you want that 4Runner? Well, we only got one left, and the customer put a deposit. No, David Decker would just reverse that transaction and give it to you if you want it. No, I'm just kidding around. I'm just making that up. But he's good. He's good. I don't know. Somehow he has a way of finding vehicles when they don't exist. But that's David Decker. Good friend. Very good friend of the Let's Go Devils podcast. Okay, that's it for now. Enjoy yourself. Be kind, folks, because we're going to talk about Devils fans. A serious conversation, Vinny Parisi and I, about Devils fans. Because lately, my Twitter account, at Primetime Sam Wu, I've been getting trashed on Twitter, on Devils Twitter. And somebody asked, why are you getting trashed on Twitter? I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really care. I believe in karma. You're going to trash me? You better look out. It's going to come back around. I didn't do nothing. That's all I have to say. Treat people with kindness. It's a good thing. A good thing. And we want to unite this Devils fan base. You know, we all complain about the ownership. I'm one included. But if you really want to have a voice and you really want to make a statement, the fans have to unite. We're too fragmented around the arena. We'll talk about more of that tomorrow on the Woo Report, episode 205. Hope you have a great evening, a wonderful evening. Wear your emotion. And just remember this thing, I've mentioned this before on the podcast about emotion. It's kind of like gasoline. It's either you could take gasoline and put it in your car and drive 60 miles to where you need to be, or the gasoline can combust and explode. That's what emotion is. Use it wisely. And I suggest be kind to each other. This is the Woo Report. Till next time, let's go Devils.